this concept of the struggle. So we were talking about being saved, single, and struggling. But the question really is, does it have to be a struggle? And then I thought of the quote by Frederick Douglass that said, without struggle, there is no progress. And then I started thinking, well, really, is there a thing as a struggle? And what I realized is, everybody knows I've written this book called The 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear, Getting Unstuck, and Living Our Best Lives, or Living Courageously. And one of the things that I realized is that one of the reasons why we're stuck is because we're struggling. Now, on this particular program, it was for people who are saved. So it's people who have a spiritual practice, people who believe in God. So it really was geared toward people who have a belief or a mindset that there is a God or a source that's out there and is working on their behalf. So my thing was, if you truly believe that there is this source and it's working on your behalf, then are we still struggling? Should we be struggling? And some people say, well, they don't like the word should or could, but what is this thing about the struggle? I believe that one of the reasons why people are stuck is because we're struggling. So one of the first steps I would say is to develop a mindset that says, I am no longer struggling. I am going to take off that mantle that says I must struggle. I must be the lowest person at on the totem pole. I must work the hardest. I mean, many of our parents told us that in order to move up, we have to work the hardest and be the best. Well, I'm all pro working hard, but I believe that we can get off the struggle bus if we choose to. And that our words that we speak are so powerful. And if we start talking about how we're in the struggle and we start talking about how we have to fight, then we will be struggling and we will be fighting. And so there is a tool that we can use in order to begin to see more positive things unfold in our life and take that stance that we can do all things and not have to struggle. So just take a deep breath. In through your nose and hold, and out through your mouth. Whew. What would life be like if we did not have to struggle, but if we could just walk it out? If we could just go on this journey of life and walk it out and have victory in it without this concept of struggle. Well, first thing I would say, I would look around, I would say, are there people who aren't struggling? Or at least people who look like they're able to walk through life and they don't seem like things are falling apart for them? Yeah, sure. Are there people that we see, that we know of, that we can talk to, and they don't seem like they're on the struggle bus? Well, yes. So if there are people that you know of that are not on the struggle bus and are not talking about the struggle, then maybe those are people that we need to spend some time with, because our thoughts determine our feelings. And if we think that we're on the struggle bus and we think we're struggling, we think we have to fight, then we're going to feel feelings of anxiety and feelings of stuckness. And then we're going to operate and function as if we have to struggle and we have to fight. And then the things that are going to manifest around us are a struggle and a fight. So I would say, take a deep breath and let's begin to change the way that we live. So one, we're going to find people that are doing the things that we would like to do and that are doing them in the way that we would like to do them, and spend time with them and talk with them and find out how they do it. And one of the things my partner on the show said was that we need to ask people and take a posture of humility. So there's so many people online now who are talking about how they're experts, and they're experts in this and they're experts in that. And they're like 21 years old and they just graduated and they may be talking about how to run a $1 billion business and they've never run a $1 billion business. So do we sometimes need to take a step back and be humble? Yes. Do we sometimes need to take a step back and learn from people who are doing the things that we want to do? Yes. Okay. Now, Sometimes there are things that we already know instinctively. And I truly believe that when we're talking about our ikigai or what it is that we're called to do, it's something that you already have an innate ability to do. It's something that you already have an ability to act out. And it's not just something that you need to learn everything from A to Z, but you already have 90% of what you need to know. And it's just that 10% that we don't have that we need to learn. And we need to be humble enough to say, okay, sir or ma'am, tell me how you did it. Tell me what it is that you think I'm doing wrong, or tell me where's the shortfall. So there's a bridge, and there's a bridge from where you are now to where you want to go. But in order to get across that bridge, 9 times out of 10, it's going to take a person. Okay, so sometimes I always say, well, if you don't know anybody, read a book, watch a program, get a insight through, some sort of tape, or yes. But there comes a point on the journey where in order to go from the beginning to the end, you actually need to talk to somebody who's done it. All right. And so I say that that bridge is a person. Find the person who's doing it. Find the person who's excelling at it. Find the person who's not on the struggle bus and talk to them. See, what happens is we're talking to our friends, and our friends know exactly what we know. So we're telling them what we know, and they're telling us what they know. And pretty much we're on the same level, which is why we say that people earn generally within $5,000 of the people that they spend their time with, right? Because y'all just know the same things. So in order for us to go to that next level, we have to go outside of our comfort zone, and we have to stretch ourselves in order to go outside of that comfort zone and meet with people who are not just like us. And that's the secret. Guys, did you know I was gaining some research on Elon Musk? When he was looking to launch SpaceX, he actually went and found, first of all, he contacted the Russians and asked them if he could buy the rocket that they had. That was his step one, right? But another step that he had was to actually find somebody who had actually built a rocket, because he had never built a rocket. He was a professor, and ask him to show him how to build a rocket. So if we want to have a $1 million business or a 6-figure business, or we want to be able to go to college for free, and we want to do something amazing, something that we haven't done before, step number one is to find people who have actually done it. So I have a person who's in my life who has been following my tutelage, and she decided that she was going to go to college for free. And she also decided that she was going to get a scholarship to go. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not get on board with the way that she was going about doing it, but she did it. She found a way, she found a route. And I would suggest that one of the ways that she found this route was by talking to other people who had also done it, and thereby finding out how she was going to be able to get that door opened. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying whatever it is that you want to do, whatever goal it is that you have, no matter how crazy it may sound to other people, you can do it. You can accomplish it. And 9 times out of 10, there's someone else who is around that can help you to accomplish that goal. Okay, to get over that hump. So I always love to say, people say, well, why are you talking about Elon Musk? Why are you talking about Elon Musk? But if he were coming to me as a child and I were his parent, and he said to me, I want a bus that goes to the moon. That's what my goal is. At the time, like 20 years ago when he started this, I would have probably said, maybe you should do something else. So regardless of what your goal, your vision, your dream is, it's probably not as crazy as that, as let me have a bus to the moon. Okay, let me take a bus to the moon. So rest assured that whatever your goal, your dream, your vision is, you can achieve it, right? Because out of thin air, he decided he was going to have a bus to the moon, and he had one, right? He decided he was going to have a car that drove itself, which was kind of like spacey, and we hadn't really heard of it at the time, but he did it. He accomplished it. And so my goal for you today is to say, take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, get off the struggle bus and say, I can do this, whatever it is. I'd love to help you to work through accomplishing that goal, that vision, that dream, because it's accomplishable, okay? And remember that this is a key piece. Key number 2, secret number 2, is that goal, that dream, that vision was given to you. So many times we're looking at other people for affirmation. We're looking at other people for confirmation when they can't possibly affirm us and confirm what we're saying or what we're doing, because they didn't get the vision. You know, you got the vision because whoever the universe or God dropped it in your lap, boom, because he knew you were the person that was going to walk it out. You were the person that was going to, walk through that journey. And once again, what I'm saying is, as we walk through the journey, get off the struggle bus. Know that there is a route. So it's just a matter of seeking that route, seeking where it is that I need to go in order to accomplish that goal. Where is that bridge from where I am now to where it is that I need to be? And that bridge, 9 times out of 10 for me, has often been a person. So where do we start? Because we may not know Oprah, or we may not know Elon Musk, or we may not have access to Arlene McLaren straight off the bat because you don't want to, spend the money on the programs. But you can begin with a book. So here's a book. 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear, Getting Unstuck, and Living a Courageous Life, right? The book is a couple dollars. Grab the book. Get started with the book. Get a book, all right, of your own, and get a pen and paper, because one of the secrets in the book that I talk about is writing. Write the vision. Write the vision, make it plain. If we can write it and put that pen to paper, that's where the magic happens. But I don't leave it there because I don't want people to get stuck. And the book is about getting unstuck. I don't want you to get stuck in the writing. So many of us who are brilliant, which is you're brilliant, you're amazing, you have this great plan. You're so brilliant sometimes that you're so detail oriented that you're writing the plan and you're writing the vision. And the idea is not to get stuck in the planning and the plotting and the scheming, but to be in the walking it out, okay? Walking out that vision. And so that's why one of the key secrets that I love to talk about is number 3, which is momentum. Whatever it is, move forward in it. Even if you're not sure of all the details of the wheres and the wherefores and the hows and the who's it's and the what's it's, begin walking in that direction. And as we walk in that direction, people will come to us who know the answers. So like I said, with that gentleman, Elon Musk, he found a guy who was actually a professor, and he knew how to build a rocket. And he showed him the books that he could read. He was an engineer himself, but he began reading and learning how to do it. So that's what I'm sharing with you. Walk it out. Begin walking it out. Even in the dark. It's like a man walking in the dark, but as you take a step. Oh, how many of you have seen that? I love this illustration. The Michael Jackson video where he's walking, and as he walks, the street starts to light up, and then he takes the next step and the street starts to light up. That's how it is. That's the journey. So it's not so much the struggle as it is us having the faith to walk out the things that we want to do and not being afraid to look stupid. 9 times out of 10, you already know what to do to begin, but you just don't want to look stupid. But guess what? How do you think Thomas Edison felt when he tried how to make a light bulb 1,000 times before he actually was able to make the light bulb? He just kept going. He just kept walking it out. And there weren't too many people at that time who had light bulbs. So it seemed like what he was doing may have been crazy, but he kept going because he had the vision, he had the dream, and he didn't drop it. He didn't leave it. So today I'm talking about the struggle. Was it a struggle for him, or was it just him walking it out and not giving up and not letting go? Well, that leads me to secret number 9. And right now, while I'm talking, I'm not going in order, but secret number 9 is the secret of persistence and continuing to go along the journey, even though we're not sure how or if we're going to be able to accomplish it. And actually, I don't even like the if, because if we truly believe that we've been illuminated with this goal, and this is something that's your ikigai. The ikigai is the dream that you have, or the vision that you have, your life's work. If you truly believe that this is your ikigai, then there is no such thing as it's not going to work. There's only, how do I find the route to ensure that I can walk it out so that it works? So everybody needs to take a deep breath and say, where is the route? Where is that open door to the goal, the dream, the vision that I have? Where is that open door? And it's a matter of looking for that open door, and don't call it a struggle. Because if we call it a struggle, we're going to feel the emotions of struggle. If we call it a journey and we call it a walk, and there's a concept that says we're going to enjoy the journey, I mean, we can pray for that. We can say, I would like to enjoy the journey, and begin thinking or asking yourself, how can I enjoy this journey? Especially when you feel stressed, or you feel stuck, or you feel like you're experiencing what's that word? Depression or fear. Ask yourself, how can I walk this out and feel joy and peace at the same time? How can I go about accomplishing this goal and not lose my mind in the process? Because there are so many people that we know started the journey with us that are no longer here. When I started my master's degree program, they said, look to your right and look to your left, and the people that are with you now, they may not be with you at the end. And that was terribly discouraging, What would happen? And it was true. Many of the people weren't with me at the end. But what if they had said, look to your left, look to your right, and decide that you're going to lock arms with these people and walk this journey out, and you're all going to come out together? So that's what I'm doing today as your coach. I'm saying, let's lock arms together and let's decide that we are going to come out of this together. So I want you to stop and think of what it is that is your goal, your dream, your vision. Just take a minute. In through your nose, out through your mouth, and just take a minute. Get that goal in your mind. Don't waste time. Use this time valuably. Get that goal or vision in your mind. Okay? And then we're going to do step number 2. Step number 2 is to visualize. Yeah, just close your eyes and visualize yourself already having accomplished that goal. How do you feel after having already accomplished the goal? Do you feel excited? Do you feel illuminated? Do you feel energized? How do you feel? Who's around you? Who are the people that are there with you, celebrating you? Who are the people around you? Determine their names. What kind of day is it? Is it a bright, sunny day? Is it a rainy day when you accomplish your goal, your dream, your vision? Where are you? Are you at home? Are you at the track? Are you at the basketball court? Are you in an auditorium giving a speech? Where are you? Feel the emotion. Feel the joy. Feel the peace. Feel the victory. This is the beauty of visualization. You put yourself there, and then from there, you work backwards. How did you get there? Who were the people that helped you to get there? What were the conversations that you had in order to get there? Work backwards, okay? When we begin to work backwards, then it's easier to walk along the journey because it's already happened. It's already accomplished. So it's not like you're pushing a boulder up the hill because it's already happened. You're merely walking out the journey that has already taken place. So that's really the perspective that we need to come from in achieving these goals and dreams and visions. Take a step back and look over your shoulder and see how you did it, okay? See the mindset that you were in when you accomplished that goal, dream, or vision. All right, so moving right along, really the key that I'm talking about today is this concept of struggle. If you have already accomplished the dream, the goal, and the vision, then there is no struggle because it's already happened. There is no worry. There is no fear. It's already accomplished. And so that's why one of the secrets in this, in addition to persistence, in addition to visualization, in addition to momentum, which is walking it out, is also the secret of, drum roll please, the secret, which is secret number 4, getting in proximity to the thing that you want, right? So sometimes it's people, but sometimes it's a place. Sometimes proximity is a place. So for me, I know that I wanted to be in California. Now, in California, there are some things that will allow me to be closer to the thing that I want. Whereas when I was in New York City, I wasn't as in close proximity to the thing that I want. So even though I haven't achieved it yet, my full ikigai, I'm at least in the vicinity. I'm around the people who've achieved it. I'm near the people who've achieved it. I have a greater opportunity to learn from the people who have already achieved the thing that I want because I'm in proximity to them. Whereas before, they didn't necessarily see me. Okay, because I was clear across the country in another area. So now, this is why this concept of proximity is so important. I said that our thoughts determine our feelings and our feelings determine our actions. But do you know that you actually can be affected by the thoughts and the feelings of the other people that are around you? Absolutely. We can be influenced by the thoughts and the feelings of the people around us. And I'm going to prove it to you. Have you ever walked into a room where everybody's crying? You have no idea why they're crying. You have no involvement in what's going on, but you feel sad. Why? Because the emotion in the room is sadness. Okay, reverse it. Have you ever walked into a room where everybody is so ebullient and effervescent and they're laughing? and they're so excited. And you feel happy, you feel jovial, you feel joyous. And you don't know why. Because their emotions have affected your emotions. Now, if that is the truth, oh, much love to you, Mr. Spraggins, much love. I love it when you guys type. You guys need to type and let me know who's on. We have 13 people on, 14 people on with us. You guys should type and tell me who you are so that I can acknowledge you. I love it when you talk to me. Tell me what your business is. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what your project is. Back to what I was saying. So the proof is that when we've walked into rooms where people are sad, we feel sad. When we walked into rooms where people are happy, we feel happy. So is it possible that we can walk into a room where people are feeling an emotion of abundance, wealth, feeling an emotion of fulfillment and contentment and balance, and we could begin experiencing contentment and balance and growth and wealth and abundance and all of those wonderful things that we would like to feel? Of course. Everybody say, of course. Of course. Okay, type, of course. Of course. So if that is a possibility, does it make sense then to begin spending time with people who are operating in that vein and operating in that concept? Or does it make sense to spend time with people who are on the struggle bus, people who are worried, people who are fearful? Like, guys, come on over here. Even if we haven't yet accomplished it in the natural, we can begin that thought process that says, I'm ebullient, I'm wealthy, I'm abundant. And it's not just about the affirmations, because that's part of it, the affirmations of the visualization, but this proximity thing, guys, is powerful because it literally comes to us when we're in the presence of people who are operating in that particular vein. And so it's really important that we begin to look at that. And also keep in mind that as we're beginning to operate in that aspect of ebullience and energy and abundance, there are other people who are around us, like your kids and your family members, who also are feeling what you feel. So if you feel stressed, you wonder why your kids have all sorts of situations like eczema. I had eczema when I was a kid, which I didn't find out till I was an adult was based on my stress level. People have asthma. Well, that's also based on stress. It's brought on or it's exacerbated when we're stressed. There's so many things. Heart attacks. They say most heart attacks happen on a Monday morning. Guys, why are most heart attacks happening on a Monday morning? Because people are stressed and don't want to go to work on a Monday morning after they've been relaxed and been off for the weekend. Could it be that simple that if we put ourselves around people who are operating in that abundant thought process and that ebullient thought process and not operating in fear and anxiety, that we could also begin to operate in that more ebullient and energetic and excited and successful process, and then begin seeing it manifested more and more in the natural? The answer is yes, of course. Everybody say, of course. Type, of course. Okay? So that's why it's so important for us to get off that struggle bus. If there's one thing that you hear from me today, it is the struggle is not ours. Like, especially for you guys, if you don't believe in God or you don't believe in the universe, okay, that's one thing. But if you're a believer in God and you're a believer that the universe is operating on your behalf, then there is no reason for us to struggle. There is only an opportunity for us to walk out the true desire of our heart and our true ikigai. And remember that if we're truly walking in our ikigai, which is that thing that we've been born to do, then the thing that we're looking for is also looking for us, because this is the thing that we've been destined to do all of our lives. So let's say you did go to prison, or let's say you did have a bad grade, or let's say, you had an accident that prevented you from doing it in the past. Well, back then you didn't have the knowledge that you have now. So maybe now that you have this knowledge that you don't have to be on the struggle bus, now we can begin to function and move forward in a new way. So I want you to type and tell me, what is it that is your goal? What is it that is your ikigai? What is that thing that you're working on so that you can begin to manifest your true ikigai and be who you're truly called to be without the struggle? So that's what we're talking about. No more struggle bus. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Also, there's something called square breathing. If you're not familiar with square breathing, begin to do square breathing so that we can begin to relax. If you're stuck, like the book says, you need to get unstuck, or if we are experiencing anxiety, square breathing is 4 in for 4, hold for 4, and then release for 4, so that you can begin to relax. Okay. So, like I said, what's another thing that we can do to get off the struggle bus? So we said be clear about where we want to go, what we want to do. We said be persistent at it so that we don't give up. We just keep going because we know that we're going to accomplish the goal. We talked about proximity. Now, another book that I've written is 10 Secrets to Networking. And many people think that networking is just about gaining something from people. But keep in mind that if you truly want to be around someone that is great, you not only have to be someone that receives information, but you also have to be someone that's willing to share information or provide a service to that person that you truly want to get close to. It can't just all be a one-sided route. So somebody may say, well, for me, in my case, I worked for a very wealthy, successful business owner. Now, that person was, at the top of their game. I was not at the top of my game. But in terms of my networking ability, I was the bridge between that person who was, up on that pedestal, so to speak, quote unquote, and the people that that person wanted to connect with but didn't want to spend a whole lot of time. So that person wanted to do good things for the world. He wanted to spend money and do philanthropic work, but he didn't want to spend the time hearing all the stories. So I became the bridge between him and that community. So I was able to present to him and say, wow, I know you don't want to give to individuals because it takes up too much of your time. This is a worthy organization. I've checked it out, and I think that this organization is one that may be in line with your goals of philanthropy and sharing with the people. And so then he was able to look at it and say, yeah, well, actually this organization is geared toward education. Thanks, Arlene. Actually, I'm going to look into it and see if this is something that I can use. So I was providing a service to that person. And so in turn, he was willing to share with me as we were walking and as we were talking or as we were having our lunches, talking about his business. I was able to begin to ask a few questions that were relevant to the route that I wanted to take. So if you hear nothing else in terms of networking, it is I must provide a service for that person that I truly want to get close to. I can't just be like not can't, but it is in my best interest to provide a service to the person that I truly want to network with and want to walk alongside with. So if we walk with giants, we have to begin to think like giants. And one of the key things that giants are cognizant of or conscious of is this concept of time. If you look at, let's say, Oprah Winfrey, for example, she is somebody who used to start her day at 4 o'clock in the morning. Her show, she started taping at 4 o'clock in the morning, and she went all throughout the day. And she tells you that she wanted to be one of those ladies who lunched at the time when she had her show, but she did not have time because time was so valuable to her. There is a book that was written by Donald Trump, regardless of what your political views are, because I'm not necessarily a political supporter, but just in terms of this book that he wrote, what was the name of the book? The title of the book was, I think it was The Art of the Deal. He outlines his day. And in the day, he talks about how every single minute of the day was taken up. So many of the people who are very wealthy have a plan. Okay, so yes, you're running from here and you're running from there. So if you truly want to connect with that person, it makes sense to provide a service, do something for them that lightens their load so that then they have more time in order to help you with your journey, and thereby you don't have to struggle, because if you can get the information from somebody else who's already done it, then you don't have to guess. You don't have to think through it, you don't have to struggle through it. All you have to do is do what they did. And also sometimes these people will open doors for us. These people sometimes will open doors for us and make connections. So there's so many people that I know that I've met along the journey. Is it possible that you could tell me what it is that you want to do and I could make a connection between you and somebody else who is in line with doing what you want to do, or who can help you on the journey, in addition to myself, if it's not something that I've done? So I love to use this example. Like if you want to start a trucking company and you come to me for coaching, I'm probably not the best coach to help you with a trucking company. I can give you the particulars of starting, but then I would want to connect you with somebody else who maybe has a trucking company. Okay. And can I do that? Absolutely. And one of the key secrets as well is this concept of your words. Watch your words, the power of your words. Guys, that's why I'm doing this call today. That's why I'm doing this live. Because as I shared, I was on a live with a wonderful friend of mine, and we were talking about the single woman and the wealthy man. And we were talking about this concept of struggling and waiting. And I just really was moved to get on here and ask people, if you are struggling, is there possibly a way that we no longer have to struggle? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, regardless of what it is that you want to do. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Woo! Ayana! Yes. Okay, now we're moving and grooving. Guys, type in the chat. Yes. Words, the power of your words. If I seem like I'm really excited about this, it's because I am, because I have seen how the power of your words can either build us up or the power of our words can shoot us down. And that's why I'm coming on here and talking about this word struggle. And if we believe that we're struggling, then we will struggle, and it will be hard, and it will be tough, and it will be a journey, and we will be like Atlas pushing the boulder up the hill. But if we take that word out, that struggle and that angst and that depression and that stuckness, like the book says, getting unstuck, then we don't have to be stuck. Okay, we can begin to move in the direction of our goals and our dreams. And I love what she said. She said, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Literally, guys, my mom was 80 years old when she died. This is a true story. My mom was 80 years old when she died. My grandmother was 103. And literally, my mom used to say from time to time, I could die before my mother. I could die before my grandmother. My daughter's sitting over there. Am I telling the truth? Yeah. I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Yes. She used to say this all the time. I could die before her. Most of the people in my family have lived to close to 100 or at least into the wee 90s. This woman would say it habitually. Well, I could die before her. And guess what? She died before her. She died at 80. She had never been in the hospital before for an illness from I knew her. She had never been sick before from I knew her. And yet it comes up out of the blue with an incurable disease. And I watch her go within months. She just, whew. She went away to visit Jamaica. And when she came back, she was sick. And shortly thereafter, she died. Her words, I'm going to say, okay, some people will say, well, maybe she was at peace, she was ready to go. But I believe that the words that she said also impacted the fact that, her time was up. Now, some people may say, well, she knew her time was going to be up early. And so really, maybe she was just warning me, which is why she kept saying, I could go before her. I could go before her. Well, yeah, that's a possibility. But my thing is, how about my grandmother now, who passed away at 106. Did my grandmother pass away at 106? Okay, that's my daughter. She's confirming. How many people do you know that died at 106? I'm just going to be silent and give you a minute to think about it. What is one of the things that she would always say? People would ask her age, and she would never share her age. She said to me, a true lady never shares her age. So most people never knew how old she was. She looked like she was young. So people thought she was young, and she never told them that she was old. So she was young. She would always dance, and she would move like she was a young person. And when she was 100 and something years old, 103 it was, I went to the store to buy balloons. Like when it's a person's birthday, you buy them balloons. So I wanted to get the balloons, and it said 1, and then I got the 0 and the 3 because there were no balloons that said 103, happy 103. And the guy in the store said, oh, you made a mistake. It says 103. And I said, no, actually, she's 103. Okay. So I believe that it was the power of her words that caused her to be able to live for so long. And the lovely lady, Miss Onuora, I hope I'm saying it right. I probably am not. Ayana said that it's the power of the tongue. In there lies life and death. And I'm just giving you a practical example of one lady who lived to be 106 and the other lady who lived to be 80 years old, and what the words were of both. I generally have seen examples of where I was stressed and I was on the struggle bus and I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And many times it didn't work because I was worried that it wasn't going to work and I knew it wasn't going to work. And I was talking to people and having conversations about how it wasn't going to work and what was I going to do. And my friends were responding to me in like matter, whoa, I don't know what you're going to do because boy, this is really a struggle. This was really hard. And it was, as opposed to my walking into a situation and saying, I know that this situation is going to work and that a door will be open for me. I don't know how, I don't know who, but I just know that it's going to work out. Okay. And I'll give you another story. I gave the story on the call earlier today. I said I was working in the capacity of a reporter. True story, guys. And I had to go to interview the president of the United States. I didn't have my credentials. And I know it sounds crazy, but I didn't have my credentials because the guy who was supposed to bring the credentials, he didn't show up. So I could have done one of two things. I could turn around and say, "Oh, I don't have the credentials. It's over. I can't go. It's just not going to work out." Or I could decide to do what I'm telling you to do and decide that I'm going to follow all the 10 secrets, right? I'm going to put my persistence in place. I'm going to follow the secret number 3, which is momentum, and just start walking. I'm going to follow secret number 4, which is get in proximity with the people who are also doing what it is that I want to do. And I got out of my car and I started walking. This was at the Hilton Hotel in Brooklyn. Those of you who are in New York know the Hilton Hotel in Brooklyn. And there was a line around the block. And I knew I was not going to wait on that line, but I got out of my car and I started to walk. I did not know where I was walking to. I did not know how I was going to get in. I just started walking. And lo and behold, there was a man and he pointed and he said, "Over there." How did he know where I was going? We didn't have a conversation, but I followed and I walked it out. So I went through the door. When I went through the door, there was a huge escalator. Those of you who know the Hilton Hotel, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not making this up. There was a huge escalator. So I took the escalator up. I did not know who was on the other side when I got to the top side of the escalator, but I was going to walk it out because in my mind, I had decided that this was going to work out. Okay. And I was going to walk it out. And God or the universe or whoever it is you believe in was going to show me how to do it. So literally, I get to the top and it's covered with cops. There's cops everywhere. I'm like, oh no, these cops are going to stop me. They're not going to let me through. They're going to stop me. I mean, they're cops. That's why they're there, to prevent people from going up. So they said nothing to me. I kept walking. Then when I got to the desk now where the lady was going to take the credentials, lo and behold, there just happened to be another reporter from another station and from another paper. And he said, "Oh, hey, Arlene." And he called on me and he ushered me in. So the lady didn't bother to take my credentials because she knew I was familiar with this guy and that I probably was one of the reporters. So I walked in. When I got to the back of the room, I said, I don't know, it just came to me to say, "Excuse me." So I said, "Excuse me." And the people moved out the way. So I'm at the back of the room and I said, "Excuse me" again. And more crowds of people moved out of the way. Guys, I went from the back of the room, this huge room full of people, to the front of the room. And when I got to the front of the room, there was this one lady who was in front of me to the ropes. And she said, "I've been waiting here for 3 hours and you're not going to get me to move out the way." So I said to myself, wow. So that means that all these other people who had been waiting, who were standing in front of me, they had been waiting maybe for hours to be in the position that they were in. And yet they just opened, like how the Red Sea opened for Moses. They just opened for me. Okay. Was I in the mindset that I needed to get to the front? Yes. Was I believing? Yes. Had I visualized it? Yes. Did I know did I know how I was going to do it? No, I didn't know how, but I just kept moving, going the journey, taking the journey. So when the talk is over now, the speaker, who happens to be President Barack Obama, gets off the stage and he comes to me. I kid you not. Room full of people. He comes to me. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to believe me that I followed these. I just walked in there and I just, did what I thought I needed to do, and that he came off the platform to me. So I'm like, I got to get somebody to give me a picture. So I start shouting, to people to take the picture, take the picture. But what I didn't know is it was on the 2 o'clock news. It was on the 4 o'clock news. It was the president. Of course, all the news media were there. So they were taking the photos. And the lady who was a friend of mine who saw me on television, she said, Arlene, I saw you on television and you looked like you were crazy. You just kept shouting, take the picture, take the picture. So, what am I saying to you? Was I on the struggle bus with that experience? No. I mean, it was stressful in the sense that I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just kept walking and walking and walking. And eventually the door opened, right? People started coming to me, right? And or people started operating in the way that they needed to operate to facilitate me getting to where I needed to get to. And so I literally had my hand on President Barack Obama and I was holding him. Now he could have walked off. I mean, there's Secret Service there. They could have, said, get off him, lady. But he stayed and he waited because he knew I was waiting for somebody to take the photograph. So what's the message here? Many times we're working so hard and we're struggling to accomplish the goal. And if we would just take a minute, take a deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth, and relax. And ask ourselves, what is the best way that I can accomplish the thing that I'm endeavoring to accomplish? What's the best way that I know of right now to accomplish the thing that I want to accomplish? It will come to you. And the secret is, when that crazy thought, because it's going to seem crazy, like when I thought, oh, I should just walk up the steps and I should just walk through and I should just tell the people, excuse me, and they're just I didn't know what was going to happen. When that crazy thought comes to you, the secret is shut your mouth and don't tell anybody. See, what happens is we start talking to our friends and we start talking to our family, and that's where the struggle begins, because those people are going to talk to us and tell us to the best of their knowledge what they think we should do or how crazy they think our thought process is. And we're saying, oh my gosh, I had this crazy thought. And your friend says, yeah, what a crazy thought you had. Oh my gosh, how can you do that? And we're consistently reinforcing the thought process that says this is crazy, as opposed to keeping your mouth shut, not telling anybody. Only tell those people who you think are going to celebrate you in the journey. Tell your coach, tell me, okay? Because I'll tell you, yeah, well, hey, if Elon Musk can have a bus to the moon, you sure can, accomplish this goal or dream or vision that you have and that you've had for all your life. And this is another secret too in this journey of getting off the struggle bus. The secret is that it's something you've always wanted to do. The secret is that it's probably not something you just got up this morning and said, oh, I'm going to do it. No, it's probably something that you wanted to do for a long period of time, and it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. That thought keeps coming to you. And even though you try to put it to bed and you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know when I'm going to do this. Listen, you're not too old. You're never too young. You're not too smart. You're not too dumb. You're not too fat. You're not too skinny. You're not too tall. You're not too short. Regardless of what it is, now is the time. Now is always the time. Okay. And you are exactly who you need to do. And that's why that goal or that dream or that vision was dropped in your spirit and not in somebody else's. Okay. It was given to you because you have everything that you need in order to accomplish it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been given to you. Like Michael Jordan, for example. You guys know that he got cut from the basketball team. Yeah. He wasn't that good. He might have been tall, but he wasn't that good. But he had that desire and he kept going and he kept going until he was the greatest basketball player ever. But I don't have that goal. It wasn't dropped in my spirit for me to be a great basketball player because that's not really for me. I love to talk about my grandmother. My grandmother never took a piano lesson, right? But she was not on the struggle bus to try to play piano. She was not on the struggle bus. She would sit down at the piano literally and just pick out the keys. And what she picked out, it sounded beautiful. It sounded beautiful. People who didn't know that she had never taken a piano lesson, but it was just coming forth from her because she so had this strong desire to want to play music. She loved music. She was the kind of person who would stop and just listen. And way up into I said 106 when she died, but way up into the 103s at least, she was still dancing. She was still enjoying the music. And when I would go visit her when she was 106, okay, and I would sit there with her, I would literally play music for her because I knew that was something that she enjoyed. So, what am I saying? What's the message here? It's something that you've always wanted to do because you have the desire in you to do it because you have the ability to do it. You have the ability to accomplish it. Arlene McLaren gives you permission today. You have the ability to accomplish that dream, that goal, that vision. Okay. And I want you to type and tell me, what is your goal? What is your goal? What is your vision? What is that thing that you feel like you're stuck in? And I love you. Thank you for telling me that I'm brilliant. Thank you. You are brilliant too. You are brilliant too. Type and tell me what it is that you want to accomplish. And if you don't know what it is that you want to accomplish, type and tell me what you think you want to accomplish, because that's also another way that our goals and dreams are stolen from us because we're not sure. We're waiting to be sure. But guess what? Nobody's sure. Nobody's absolutely sure. Who could be sure? I mean, when Steph Curry throws up the shot, in his mind's eye, he knows it's gonna swoosh, and that's why he's throwing it up with that swagger. But does he really know that it's gonna swoosh? No, he's got to throw it up. He's got to just throw it up and let it go, which is what we have to do a lot of times with our goals, dreams, and visions. We have to believe and we have to just let it go. Does he look like he's struggling when he's on the court and he goes up to swoosh? No. Does he look like he's on the struggle bus? No, because he's doing something that he loves and that he enjoys and that he believes is going to work. So whatever it is, begin saying you believe that it's going to work. Do something that you love. That's another secret. Some of us are pushing boulders up a hill. Like maybe you're struggling with this business, but this business is really not what you love. There's a proverb that says, it's not necessarily a biblical proverb, but it's a statement that says, do what you love and the money will follow. If you're truly doing what you love, the pieces of the puzzle will come to you. And when those bumps and bruises come along the way, you'll be able to follow secret number 9 from the book, which is persistence, because you truly love what you're doing. And no matter what it is, you're going to have those bumps and bruises along the way. So love. One of the secrets is love. So we said the power of your words. We said persistence, number 9. We said proximity to what it is that you want. Number 4, we said momentum, move, keep moving. Number 3. So if you feel an inclination to go to bed and to pull the covers over you, that is actually the time, unless you know that you're legitimately tired because you were up last night. But if you know you went to bed last night and you had to sleep and you slept, this is the time to pull the covers off and just take a leisurely walk. Go outside in the sunshine. I look out behind me as if there's any sunshine behind me. There isn't any. But the goal is to go outside in the sunshine. Okay? Get that vitamin D and get that energy. All right? So that we can have that ebullience that we need, that vivacity that we need. No more struggle bus. Okay? No more struggle bus. So I'm going to be on for another couple of minutes, but I wanted you to. We did secret number 4. We did secret number 3. We did visualization, secret number 2. We did secret number 1, which is clarity, determining what it is. And that's where I was in the journey right then and there. I was saying some of us are not typing what it is that we want to do, what our true ikigai is, what our true goal is, because we're not sure. And so we don't want to put it out there. But guess what? We don't want to be embarrassed. Guess what? The people who accomplish great things in the world were those people who were not the smartest, who were not the best, but they were the ones who were not afraid to put themselves out there and look stupid. Okay? Yeah. First, people will laugh at you. Okay, this is a principle. First, they'll laugh at you. Then they will fight with you and tell you that you're wrong. After they finish laughing at you and they realize you're really going to do it, they'll fight with you, right? And they'll tell you that you're wrong. But guess what? In that process, the end process is that they actually join you. So I started a networking event and a networking group. And I was in a community where I had to kind of go and push the boulder up a hill. I was asking other people in the community to help me to launch this networking group because I had moved from a community that was very successful in terms of the business community, and I was a leader in the business community. And now I was back home after my divorce. And now I wanted to see the business community grow just like I had seen the business community grow in that other area. And so I decided to start this networking group. And I had a man who was a leader in the community look me in the eye and say, "Don't do it, Arlene. It will fail." He said that to me. It will fail. Now, how is that for encouragement? Okay. If you haven't been told that your dream is going to fail, then I'm telling you that may happen in the journey. But remember, the dream and the vision was given to you. It wasn't given to them. So they don't know. You can't be upset with them. So I kept going and I ignored him. And, God rest his soul. He has now passed on. But I remember him. That's another thing. Many times we remember the words of the people who were negative about us and negative towards us, but there are so many more people who want to cheer us on and who want to celebrate us. I am a coach and I would love to celebrate you along the journey. If you will allow me, share what it is that you want to do. I will make myself available to you or make my team available to you so that we can help to celebrate you. So even though there are so many more people who are celebrating us than naysayers, it's human nature that we remember the naysayers and we're rehearsing what the naysayers said. And that's why we're struggling. And that's why we're stuck. And that's why we're operating in fear and operating in depression, because we're thinking about the thoughts that make us feel depressed. We're thinking the thoughts that make us feel tired and weary and we're not going to make it and woe is me. And so I'm giving you permission today. And I'm saying we have to make a conscious effort to begin thinking the thoughts that would make us feel energized to move forward. And you're saying to me, Arlene, is it that simple? Can we just think a thought? Can we just think good thoughts and operate in accordance with those thoughts? Of course. Type it in the chat. Of course. Because if I said to you right now, get depressed, you would run a ritual that makes you feel depressed. You would start to hang your head down. You would, well, if it were me, begin talking slowly. Yeah. You'd breathe deeply and sigh. You would start thinking of all the bad things that could possibly happen. And you could literally put yourself in a state of depression and fear and anxiety and run that anxiety ritual. The same way we can begin to speak quickly and speak with energy and think thoughts that I can do this, I will accomplish this, and listen to positive materials and get a coach who's cheering for you and saying, yes, you can do it. Do another 50, do another 5 crunches. You can do it. All of this is within our hands. There's a quick story that I want to tell you. There was a man in the last 9 minutes I have. So there was a man and he was a wise sage. And believe me, this is going to help you get off the struggle bus. He was a wise sage, and there was a young boy, and he went to this wise sage, and he asked him, is the bird in your hand alive, or is the bird in your hand dead? And the wise old sage, he knew exactly how to respond to the boy. And he said, if the boy asks me if the bird in my hand is alive or dead, I know what to do. Okay, actually, it was the boy who had the bird in his hand, right? And it was the wise sage now who was to tell him, because the boy asked him, is the bird in my hand alive or dead? So the boy had the bird in his hand. And he knew that he had already decided if the wise sage said the bird was dead, because the wise sage always knows the answer, then he'd crush it in his hand. No, he'd open up his hand and he'd allow the bird to fly out free. But if, on the other hand, the wise old sage said, the bird in your hand is alive, then he would crush the bird with his hands and lay the bird before him at the sage's feet, and the bird would be dead. So either way, this young boy knew that for once he was going to get the sage in a question. And the wise sage responded to him. He pondered for a minute. And he thought. And he answered him. He said, the answer, my son, rests in your hands. And so I say to you, the answers to you accomplishing that goal, that dream, that vision, that thing that you've held in your heart for so many years and had on your mind and your thoughts that you have not yet accomplished, the answer to whether or not you can achieve those true goals and those true dreams rests in your hands. And so it's up to you to pick up that phone and call that person who can assist you with accomplishing it, or pick up that book and begin reading that book that's going to help you get in that mindset to move forward, or begin to connect with those organizations that are seeking to help people to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. But the secret is, regardless of what it is, the answer rests in your hands. If you think you can accomplish it, you can. If you think you can't accomplish it, you can't. If you think it's going to be a struggle, then it is a struggle. If you think it's not going to be a struggle and you don't need to be on the struggle bus and you can listen to Arlene McLaren and what I'm saying today, then it won't be a struggle. But the secret is that the true answer rests in our hands. And anyone else that tells you anything different is simply not telling you the truth. It's that simple. The answer rests in our hands. So today I would like to implore you to go to askarleneshow.com and subscribe. Subscribe right here on our YouTube channel at Ask Arlene Show so that you can be privy to our groups, our mastermind groups, and also to get information in future about how you can accomplish that dream or that goal or that specific endeavor that you have, because I would truly like to help you to accomplish that goal. So I've spent a lot of time today. We have 4 minutes left. And I would like to talk to you specifically about your dream or your goal or your vision and how we can come up with a plan to help you accomplish it. All right? Or perhaps you're already accomplishing it, but we're going to help you to expedite the process so that you can accomplish it that much faster. So anything that was worthwhile being accomplished had a root, and success always leaves clues. And there's no reason to do life alone because there are other people who are willing to support you on the journey. And so if you have been struggling, you have been on that struggle bus, maybe with depression or with fear or anxiety, I want us to have a conversation, all right? Just get on the phone and let's talk and see where you are in the journey and how we can help you to move forward. So once again, you're going to go to askarleneshow.com and subscribe. Give me your name, give me your contact information, and tell me what it is that you're struggling with. Is it that you want to have a 6-figure business? Is it that you want to write your book like I've written my book? Is it that whatever it is that you need to accomplish on that journey, we're willing to work with you. And if it's an area that is not specific to my coaching program or my team, then we can also connect you with some of the other coaches that have been on the Ask Arlene Show and have an expertise in the area that you would like to get some help in. And that's the beauty of joining our team. If you come along, we would come alongside you and support you in your process. Let's say you're a coach and your struggle is that you would like to gain more clients. Well, join the Ask Arlene Show, and we would love to give you an opportunity to get on the platform, as we have allowed very many other coaches who are a part of our community to get on and share their genius with the world. Okay? So once again, you can go ahead and grab your copy of the book at the Ask Arlene Show. And the book is right here on my right. That's a nice, simple, easy way of getting those 10 secrets. Right here in the picture, you go to Ask Arlene Show. As it says above me, oh my gosh, it's right there above me as well. Click on that link and subscribe. Like I said, give us your information and let us help you to win at the game of life. Don't do life alone. There's no reason to do life alone. We will help to empower you. We will help to encourage you. We will help to allow you to walk out your true purpose, okay? And like I said, it's like you already have 90%. You're already brilliant. You're already amazing. And you just need 10%, 10% more to get you over that bridge. And we're here and we'd love to support you, Where there's a will, there's a way, as my mom would always say, but you have to get up and take the first step. You say, well, Arlene, will you come to my house and help me? Well, you have to actually go to the website. You have to actually type your name in. Otherwise, I don't know who you are. Hopefully, you've gone to Ask Arlene Show on YouTube as well, and you have subscribed so that you can get our show and see some of the other brilliant life coaches that have been on with us and have shared their message, because perhaps one of those messages will resonate with you in a greater way. Once again, I would love to thank you for spending this hour with me, and know that we do the show. Usually we do it every Friday afternoon at 1:00, but today we are on Monday. And we're also going to be on this week, Friday. So join us today and join the team. Okay, we have a mastermind group and we'd love to see you there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.